Electoral politics, I don't care if I'm right or wrong because it's a joke to me. But we are witnessing a historic fracturing the Democratic Party coalition. And with that said, I want to transition this segment, and I'm gonna play the segment on CNN with China here after this one. It kind of highlights how we're the most propagandized country. So I'm gonna hold that segment for a little bit later, but I'm gonna go into this based on what you said because this segment what I call Biden versus protesters, Biden versus the Muslim community. You guys see the title of the video. Kamala Harris, their campaign. I don't know if you saw this. I saw this like an hour before the stream, and I had to change the title and everything. They're banning Muslims flat out from their campaign events now. Like there's a Muslim group that was banned for Kamala Harris campaign event because they assumed that they would protest him. There's a lot of fracturing. There's 1,000 pastors that represent hundreds of thousands of black people that finally called for a ceasefire, which is great to see because I dragged the black church and AME Emmanuel for allowing Genocide Joe to give a campaign speech. So I'm glad. I'm very happy to see pastors turn away from this. But I'll play this video because there's a problem, and you mentioned this before. So I want to get your general reaction to this. Feel free to interrupt anytime as I'm doing this presentation, Carl. But I'm gonna show you guys some activists, and this is 2 days ago, I believe. Pro-Palestinian activists interrupted Kamala Harris during her speech. So I'm building to because all these protests, it was going to lead the Biden administration for saying ban all Muslims from their campaign events. I know it seems crazy, but I'm telling the truth. Just stay patient. Listen to this video here.
You say that the administration is working for reproductive freedoms, but how can that be true when the United States is complicit in the destruction of hospitals and schools in Gaza and in content murdering? Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! You would call for a ceasefire now!
Is she muted?
They have no idea how bad it's going to get, Carl. No idea. No idea. There's going to be no public safe space for them. But Carl, feel free to chime in if you want to add anything.
I mean, the only reason Biden became the president is because he's not Trump, right?
Yeah.
And so this is the only thing he's running on. But now they're looking at Biden's like, dude, you're worse than Trump, man. you're like at least Trump. At least Trump is a terrible person. I'm not pro-Trump, but at least during Trump's tenure, he hasn't started much new foreign wars. But here we have Biden embroiled in a proxy war in Ukraine against Russia. We have him not only shipping weapons and munitions to Israel to support the genocide, but now they're bombing Yemen, and now they're gonna take the war to Iran. They're talking about hitting back against Iran. This is crazy. Like,
crazy,
look, how about now starting a World War III? I know you live a long time, Biden. I know you have lived a long time, but the rest of us have no interest to go out in a bang. And so right now, they just don't understand. They will think, okay, people will have no choice but to vote for the Democratic Party. But they forgot people can just not vote. People can just sit home and guess what? And when the Republican voter base turn out in drove, that just means the Democrats are going to lose. They're going to lose very badly.
So not only do you have Democrats like straight up spitting in the face of their coalition, they're not pissing Republicans off with this. like this is your point, Carl. It's not Trump people that's furious. It's their coalition, and then they call them Chinese agents and Putin puppets. I mean,
you know why? Because they're so used to have the U.S. population propagandized that they think any kind of independent thoughts, any kind of critical thinking, it has to be manipulated from somewhere else. It's like 100% projection. People talk about they talk about freedom. They talk about again, we know it's all BS. Like how they try to literally they're trying to filter out Muslims from attending Biden's talks. and these and they're saying, but if Trump get elected, it's gonna get much worse. Look, people have already experiencing Biden and Trump. You guys all suck.
Yeah.
It's like pox on both of your houses, man. And this is what electoral politics get to us. This is why a lot of young people are totally disillusioned with electoral politics today. Like I think again, this is I think Eric Lee said in China you cannot change the party, but you can change the policies. In United States, you can change the party, but you can't change the policies. This is what people don't understand. What they don't understand is, what we call the electoral democracy in the United States. It's a process. It's a process. Okay, great. But the whole aim of the process is it's supposed to give you results. Yeah. But right now they're like, oh, but look, it's great. We have election. We have this process. Well, where's the results? Where's the outcome that people want to see? It's bullshit when they promise everything and as soon as they get elected, they go turn their back on everything that they have promised. And this has gone on again and again. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So I mean,
that's why you see Russia. You have Putin with around a 75 to 80% approval rating, and you have Xi Jinping and the Chinese Communist Party, which is popular. I don't know their approval rating on top of my head, but I know they're very popular because they actually do the bidding of the people. And like you said here, we don't have democracy. Go ahead.
Or don't forget about approval reading for the leaders because people are going to say, "Oh, that they're manipulated, whatever." Look at the surveys of people about their optimism for their future.
Yes,
you will see the optimism shown by Chinese people about their future, like just blow the numbers in the US and the West out of the water because the Chinese people believe that their life will get better in next 5 years, in next 10 years. And for most of us who are familiar with the United States, we know that's not true. It really hasn't improved. Life really hasn't improved.
In the United States, if you guys think we have a democracy, name me one election where Goldman Sachs lost. Goldman Sachs is the undefeated champion of democracy. Was that 10-0? 11-0 in my lifetime? This is my lifetime. Name me, how do you get rid of Raytheon? Raytheon, 9-0 in my lifetime. I think there's been 9 elections.
I mean, they ran a pretty good campaign. You have to say, I was for Obama, right? Like before because I believed in change.
I was too.
And then I realized, wait. He's just literally the black face of the white establishment. I mean, the guy is just like he's a perfect spokesperson for the Wall Street.
Black politicians are the worst. I will say it. I give all my allies permission to say it. There's no one who's worse on the Israel-Palestine than Richie Torres. He just blocked me today. I finally got the block. Because he was saying he had a tweet where he was saying how great it is that we cut UNRWA aid. And I like, look at this psychopath. And he blocked me. And so Richie Torres, Hakeem Jeffries, Eric Adams, they were the worst. I give everyone permission to say it. There's no one worse than black politicians.
I think someone did dig up the numbers of the donations that Torres was receiving from the AIPAC. And he was actually one of the lowest paid. He's like, so he was working for cheap. He was working for Israel on the cheap. I mean,
that's so embarrassing, man.
If you're gonna be a hustler, at least ask for more money, man. I mean, Jesus.
That's a great point because that's why it's embarrassing. The squad sold out for cheap. The squad sold out and they don't take corporate money. They don't take corporate money and they still support the Ukraine war. How did that make sense? The AIPAC tries to get rid of them every election and they still vote for the Iron Dome. So at least neoliberals and neocons sell out expensive, like they cheap. That's a funny point to make. I'll give a shout out to the super chat scene here, and then we can get back on track. Thank you for $5, MC. So much truth here, absolutely. Hope you guys enjoying great conversation with Carl Zah.